This is a DTX Connect exclusive.
Does winning a Grammy matter to an artist, to an individual, to an engineer, and you being a Grammy award-winning engineer? I'd like to know, when you hear that question, do the Grammys matter? What is your first thought?
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to DTX Connect. I am Womack, and it's Grammy night. We are a couple hours away from the Grammys. I was getting ready to order my food, pour my drinks, of course, and get ready to watch the show. And I started going through my comments of some of my previous videos, and I noticed there was an interesting conversation happening around the idea of Grammy award winning and whether it's even worth having a Grammy or winning a Grammy, if a Grammy win is important to an artist's career or not. I thought it was an interesting conversation. I mean, me, myself, being somebody who's been around the music industry my entire life, I have friends who have won Grammys. I have friends who have lost Grammys. I know people who are nominated this year. And I think it's an interesting topic. I think people have their ideas of how the Grammy works, how people get Grammys or win Grammys. And it's just interesting to me that people have a perceived mindset that a Grammy doesn't mean anything, that just because there are politics involved, and sometimes there's games played, and I don't know in the Grammy committee if a country artist or a rap artist should be voting on different categories that they're outside of. I mean, music is music, and we understand that, and nobody's saying that the system isn't flawed, but I do think that it's interesting hearing people say that Grammys don't matter, because people also tie that same talking point in with people pay for Grammys. And if that's the truth, then why do they pay? I would argue, if your argument is that people pay for Grammys because they matter. So in these last YouTube videos where people were going through talking about the Grammys, especially when it comes to Nicki Minaj, they were bringing up the facts that Nicki has been slighted in previous Grammy Award shows, and I agree. She's been slighted since we can remember, right? I mean, even the Very Freaky Girl situation where they moved that to a pop category because she sampled Rick James and they thought it was too pop for the hip hop category. That's crazy, right? You do that because you now put her in a position to go up against other people who dominate the pop space, even when it's not a pop song. So are there games played at the Grammys? Sure. Are there politics at the Grammys? Sure. Is the system perfect? No, it's not. I definitely acknowledge that. But I think that question of, can the system be better? Is the system flawed? And what can we do about it? All those questions are valid, but I think they're very different than, do the Grammys matter? And I would say the overall consensus from people who are actually there doing the work is they absolutely matter. Now, some people might ask, what do you win when you win a Grammy? Do you get a check? Do you get some sort of big promotion? Like, what is the thing? What do you actually win? And what you win is just that. It's being able to put Grammy award winning in front of your name. And that cachet, whether you think it matters or not, holds a lot of weight, especially when you're moving forward in your career. The thing that I think people start conflating, though, is they look at artists like Drake who have stacked up Grammys. They look at artists like Beyonce who have stacked up Grammys. They look at different artists in different genres who just constantly win. Taylor Swift. What is another Grammy going to do for her? Nothing. But she's going to win her Grammy, of course, right? Every year they're going to make sure she has one, right? But the thing that I think people miss in this conversation are the people behind them that turn these records or these ideas or these concepts into Grammy award winning pieces, right? You have writers, you have producers, you have A&Rs who help manage that project and put it together. You have everybody who is involved in that. It's not just a win for the artist. It's a win for everybody involved. So I think whenever you get to say, I have worked on a Grammy award winning project or a Grammy nominated project, that boosts your value up in the marketplace. It actually boosts your value up so much that there's a name for it. It's called the Grammy bounce. Now, this isn't new. This is something that they've already documented and they've taken notes over and seen how artists kind of react after they win their first Grammy. For instance, Bruno Mars went from making around $100,000 per performance before his first Grammy to around $200,000 after he won his first Grammy. And then there's everybody's favorite, Taylor Swift. She went from making about $120,000 a performance to $600,000 a performance after she won her first Grammy in 2010. This matters. It matters. It changes your landscape, but more so, it changes the landscape of everybody else involved. Let's talk about writers. If you help write a Grammy award-winning record, that is now on your resume that you are a Grammy award-winning writer. When you step into a writer's room and you're talking about points on a record, you're talking about what percentages of publishing you're keeping, that matters. Whenever you're talking about producers, your production fee definitely increases. And even in that same study, I think David Banner, after his first Grammy nomination, he increased his producer fee by 100%. These things matter, not just in the lives of the superstars who make millions and millions and millions of dollars, but the lives of the artists, the producers, and the writers who make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So to the question, do the Grammys matter? Yes, they do. Not just to the artists and superstars that are involved getting the Grammy and the trophy on stage, but to everybody else that are involved. It can change their life, it can change the trajectory of their career, and it can change their fee. So, I mean, whenever we're talking about people who have dedicated their lives to making art and turning it into monetary dollars, I'm never going to be mad at that. Get your money. So with that said, tune into the Grammys, have a good time watching it, root for your favorite artists, because remember, it's not just changing their lives, it's changing everybody else's lives that are behind them. I myself will be rooting for my Texas folks, so shout out to La Voice on her nomination for Coco Jones' album, and shout out to my homie Charlie Boy for the Victoria Monet record, On My Mama, of course. We all know that one, right? So yeah, get your food, get your drinks, enjoy the show, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
This is a DTX Connect exclusive.
All right, here's the question. So, I started my YouTube channel and I have people who are in the comments having a discussion, asking the question, do the Grammys matter? Like, does winning a Grammy matter to an artist, to an individual, to an engineer? And you being a Grammy award-winning engineer, I'd like to know, when you hear that question, do the Grammys matter? What is your first thought? Yes, no, indifferent. I have my own perception of how I would think of it, because if I had a Grammy, I would be wearing that bitch around my neck, but that's me. So as somebody who's actually won one, what do you think? Do the Grammys matter?
What up, man? I mean, to make it quick, it just depends on what you're trying to do in life. If you just like want to stay independent, like a Tech Nine or Snow the Product, then no, it don't matter at all. But if you're trying to play the game, like as in like the recording industry game, the record label game, radio, Billboard charts, touring, if you want to play that game, then yes, it matters, because I mean, they exist for one. The Recording Academy issues out the Grammys, so they matter because the Recording Academy says they matter. So on that metric, yeah, you gotta have that in your arsenal. It's leverage. It's all that.